Ever wondered about the world's darkest unsolved crimes? Here's one that will keep you up at night. Pull up a chair, turn off the lights, because this story is completely real. Picture the perfect life, a sprawling 18-acre estate in the Indiana countryside, a beautiful home, white fences, rolling green lawns, a successful businessman, a loving wife, 3 children. From the outside, Fox Hollow Farm looked like a dream. But buried beneath that dream, beneath the green grass and the white picket fences, were the remains of at least 11 men, possibly more. And the man who put them there had been living among his neighbors for over a decade, coaching little league, attending church, smiling at the school gate. His name was Herbert Baumeister, and nobody suspected a thing. Herbert Baumeister was, by all appearances, a perfectly ordinary man, born in Indianapolis in 1947, college educated, married to his wife Julie in 1971, father of 3 children. In the 1980s, he opened a chain of thrift stores called Save-A-Lot across Indiana. The business was successful enough to purchase the 18-acre Fox Hollow Farm estate in Westfield, Indiana in 1991. The neighbors liked him. His children's friends played on the farm. Life seemed good, but Herbert Baumeister had a secret life, one that his wife Julie claimed she knew nothing about. A life that began in the bars and clubs of Indianapolis and ended in the woods behind his beautiful home. Between 1980 and 1995, men began disappearing from the gay bars and clubs of Indianapolis. Young men who had gone out for the night and simply never came home. Their families reported them missing. Police investigated. But in the early 1990s, missing gay men in Indianapolis were not always treated as a priority. The cases went cold. The families waited. Then, in 1994, a 13-year-old boy made a discovery that would change everything. He was playing in the woods at the back of Fox Hollow Farm when he found a human bone. He brought it home to his father. His father, unsure what to do, called the police. The bone was examined. It was human. Police contacted Herbert Baumeister about the bone found on his property. He told them it was nothing. A medical skeleton left over from his father, who had been a doctor. Police accepted the explanation and walked away. But one investigator, Sergeant Mary Wilson of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, could not let it go. She kept digging. She connected the disappearances of men from Indianapolis gay bars to Fox Hollow Farm. She built a case piece by piece, interview by interview, over months of work. Yash, in 1996, with enough evidence to request a search warrant, she went to Herbert Baumeister's home. But Baumeister refused entry. His wife, Julie, who later claimed she had no knowledge of any of this, allowed investigators onto the property while Herbert was away on a business trip. What they found in the woods behind Fox Hollow Farm was beyond anything they had prepared for. Scattered across the wooded area at the back of the property, investigators found the skeletal remains of at least 11 individuals. Bones, fragments, evidence of multiple victims disposed of over many years. DNA analysis eventually identified 8 of the victims, all men who had vanished from Indianapolis in the early 1990s. The bones of at least 3 more victims were never identified. A surviving witness, a man who had visited Fox Hollow Farm and escaped, told investigators that Baumeister had lured men from the bars, brought them to the farm, and strangled them in his indoor swimming pool, then buried them or scattered them in the woods behind the house. Investigators also connected Baumeister to a series of similar killings along Interstate 70 in Ohio and Indiana, suggesting his real victim count could be much higher. Some estimates put the number at over 20. By the time investigators had enough to arrest Herbert Baumeister, he was gone. In July 1996, as the net closed around him, Baumeister fled to Ontario, Canada. He drove to Pinery Provincial Park, a beautiful wilderness area on the shores of Lake Huron. On July 3rd, 1996, he shot himself dead in the park. He left a suicide note. In it, he did not confess to a single murder. He wrote only about the failure of his business and the breakdown of his marriage. No remorse, no names, no answers for the families. Herbert Baumeister died without ever facing a single charge, without ever standing in a courtroom, without ever looking the families of his victims in the eye. Here is what makes Fox Hollow Farm truly terrifying. Herbert Baumeister killed for over a decade in a house where his wife and children lived. His children played in the same yard where bodies were buried. Their friends came over for birthday parties and ran through the same woods where the remains of 11 men lay scattered. And when a 13-year-old boy found a human bone, police believed the explanation and walked away. Sergeant Mary Wilson was the only one who didn't. If she had given up, if she had accepted the story about the medical skeleton, how many more men would have disappeared? After Baumeister's death, the farm was sold. New owners moved in, and they began reporting something strange. Apparitions, unexplained sounds. A figure seen walking through the property late at night. A presence that felt like it had never left. Fox Hollow Farm still stands today. The bones of at least 3 victims were never identified. Their families never got answers. Herbert Baumeister killed himself before justice could reach him. But Sergeant Mary Wilson, one determined investigator who refused to let it go, gave at least 8 families the answer they had been waiting for. Sometimes, one person is all it takes. The file is closed, but the darkness never ends. That's the story. What do you think? Comment below and let us know if you have any stories you want us to tell. Follow Faceless Coconut and watch your back.